Hello everyone and welcome to the 13th edition of the Bangalore Short Film Fest. I am Avaan Ajit Menon. I am the director of CASHUALTY.
I am Prajul Bhandari, producer of the film CASHUALTY.
I was writing another film and we were planning to make another film, but that got stopped and then we didn't have time, so the shoot was in a few months and then we had to hurry up, and so I just went in reverse. I was like, okay, what do I want to make? What is something that interests me? Like, what kind of films do I like to watch? And I thought suspense is a genre that I'm pretty much interested in. So I thought, let me think of a space where can I set the film, and then I got the visual of a hospital, and then I went in reverse. I kind of asked myself, what is a conflict? And this is the first time I approached it like that. And what was the drive? I think the biggest drive is the fact that this was our final college project.
We had to pitch to a financier, in this case our HOD, who had given us a much lesser budget as we had expected. As we got a much lesser budget, we had to reevaluate and work towards a new budget.
The limit was 20 minutes, and they were very strict about that, and we can't go beyond the time limit. So because of that, there were a lot of times we have to cut down a lot of things, and since the script was more action based, there were more movements, so you're using a lot more space, so that that kind of, it is time consuming. So a lot of things we had to cut because of that, because of the duration. A lot more subplots and a lot more characters had to be cut out. So, and then we had to rework from there.
We held 2 meetings per week to understand our roles and responsibilities across the HODs of the film. Financially, as we were low on budget, we had to work 2 shifts. One was from 9 AM to 6 PM to create the set, and from 6 PM to 6 AM we had to shoot. We had to also cut down on lighting and camera equipment, as we did not want to compromise our film at the same time.
So one aspect me and my producer wanted to focus on in terms of managing a whole team is communication. We thought that's the most important thing when we make a film. So in the beginning, when our crew was formed, we thought of really getting the communication proper, right? So like my producer said, we met twice a week, and not just that, we wanted to give us that space where we can call each other anytime, discuss bunch of ideas. And also for me, it's the first time I'm working with a lot of people in the crew. So it was so I wanted to make sure there's no awkwardness between us when we speak. So I think because of that, because our communication was proper, I feel like everyone was on the same page, as I mentioned, and the work was more smooth. The shoot also went pretty well, and I think one aspect we learned is communication. I think the giving us this freedom to express your ideas without any hesitation, and not just it should not, we didn't want it to be only the producer and director's final call in managing the film. We wanted everyone to have their own say.
As our film mainly required a lot of rain sequences, it was really hard to create rain outdoors and indoors. Indoors mainly because we had to keep the continuity the same. In outdoors, we did not have enough budget to have rain machines, and hence we had to use pipes to make sure that we had rain. And when things did not work out, we had to get into VFX to create the rains.
The challenge of me as a director is, yes, if you're 20-30 minutes late, it's okay, but there were times when we were behind the schedule, like by 2-3 hours, and in those times I think you can't just cut shots, you have to cut scenes. So we had instances where we had to cut 2 scenes, and in instances like this, you can't really, you can't just cut the scene, right? You have to also look at the script and see if it's affecting the flow, or restructure the script, the flow of it, the pacing of it. You have to look at all that. You have to consult your editor and see how you can do it differently, and all of this you have to take in that particular moment. And I think so managing that and looking at the delays and constantly keeping the time in your head and seeing that if you're maintaining the time. So when I started writing CASHUALTY, obviously there were more characters and there were more situations and there were more there was more subplots when it started off. But I think because of, as I said, time being a big restriction, and not just that, there's budget restrictions and location availability. Because of all this, we had to cut down a lot of characters, and I had to cut down not just shots or scenes, but even entire characters, cutting down a lot. So this obviously changed the flow of the script as well. So that was one big change, when I started off, the difference between when I started off and when I finished it. Yes, of course, it won't be accessible to children, as there is slight violence and use of foul language, and also a lot of scenes that depict smoking. In a genre like suspense, it's more of the cinematic experience. That yes, there is a story and there is a progression, but we are not trying to educate, or we are not trying to explore serious themes that only one part of the audience will relate to, or like it, or it's more of an experience. So I feel like in a genre like suspense, it's more accessible, and because of that, I don't think there's a particular target audience we're looking at. I feel like it can be enjoyed by all. Now, coming to the specific USP of our film, I think I could say it's the setting, like the setting of the hospital. In hospital, the main thing is saving lives, and there's a life and death situation, and that's the whole characteristics of hospitals. But here we move on to a completely different story. There is crime, and there's a lot other action happening, and our focus leads to that. So I feel that is something probably unique, I would say, in one sense.
For the promotion distribution of this film, we have sent it to festivals, and we plan on gaining recognition through our Instagram page and also sending it for OTT and other streaming platforms.
So one reason why audience can watch Casualty is the main thing of the duration is 20 minutes, and it's very more focused to it. It happens in one night and all of that, but here there's nothing else which distracts the main point of the film. It's more focused, and I think that's one reason you can watch. So I think having a number of music references when you're writing really helps, and also it's the best to really approach your film when you're writing it or making it with music. It really helps the editors as well, as they also can edit to a particular rhythm, and also gives the music composer a sense of mood as to what they expect from you from that particular scene. Firstly, thank you so much to the 13th Bangalore Short Film Festival for acknowledging this film. Hopefully the festival is full of exciting films to watch, and thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
I thank Bangalore Short Film Festival to give us an opportunity to show and broadcast our creativity through this film.